Hello. Hope you had a great 4th of July. I took last week off and welcome to Sporthy Girl. This is Heather and we are on episode 12, The Misconceptions of Male versus Female Behavior. After 20 plus years of working in male dominated industries as well as personal experience, the following is what I've learned about the differences between men and women. I'm not saying that either behavior is right or wrong, it just is. And I know there are many more differences than I will touch on, but here's what I've learned. When women are emotional or crying, men think that we can't think logically because men can't when they are emotional. Yet women can and do think logically at the same time that they are emotional. When explaining a situation or an issue, men start at the end of the story, only providing what is needed and expecting people to ask questions to fill in the blanks. Women work in chronological order, so they start at the beginning of the story, include all the details, and finish at the end. I've noticed that some men get annoyed by this because they want everyone to get to the point, and they think women provide too much detail that isn't relevant, so they find it a waste of time. If you look at brain scans of girls at rest, many parts of their brain are still firing. If you look at boys' brain scans when at rest, typically only one section of the brain is still active. Due to this difference in how men's and women's brains fire differently, this is why men are really good at compartmentalizing things and women aren't. This also explains why women are really good at multitasking and men are not. Men's ability to hyperfocus also comes from this difference. There have been studies done of women showing cleavage. The reports indicated that men do not hear a word that women are saying and also do not take them seriously when even the smallest amount of cleavage is showing. It is known fact that women are more efficient managers because they think ahead and remove potential issues before they actually become full-on fires. Men, on the other hand, don't think ahead, so they end up spending most of their time running around putting out fires after they've already been ignited. Because they are so busy running around doing what needs to be done in the moment, people notice and think he is such a great manager. Women, on the other hand, don't get any recognition because they don't have any fires to put out. When it comes to applying for jobs, men will apply for a job if they are 60% or more qualified for the job, while women won't apply for a job unless they are 80 to 100% qualified for it. Men are also hired for their potential and women are not. They have to prove themselves first, and I don't know how one does that if you aren't hired for your potential. Here is a classic example of that happened to me a few years back. I wanted to pivot out of commercial real estate appraisal, so I got my real estate broker's license and started talking to an older guy that I will call Don. Don was a real estate broker in California, then worked in Oregon, then came to Seattle. As far as I know, he had only been in Seattle for a year or two. He talked to me about being part of his team as I would be an asset to him, as he could market to his clients that he had a commercial real estate appraiser on his team that could give them really accurate values that regular brokers can't do. I had 12 years of commercial real estate appraisal experience, 4 years of previous brokerage experience selling homes, and my MBA. I decided to start working with him on good faith for free, thinking that I was going to onboard with him and a new kid that he had just hired. The new kid, I will call Calvin, was fresh out of college with no experience except for helping his dad who had bought some apartments. Calvin was still living 2 states away at the time, so he wasn't even in the area to help with appointments, inspections, etc. When I finally got my contract in writing about being part of the team, Don severely undervalued, undercut, and undermined me by making me a glorified administrative assistant for him and Calvin. This contract was written up based on a broker trainee position that one of Don's counterparts had hired only a month before, who was a tennis pro with 0 real estate experience. On top of giving me an administrative assistant position, any deals that I brought in Don was going to take the whole commission, give me 30% of it, and then split the other 70% evenly between himself and Don. If Calvin or Don brought in any deals, I would get 10% for my participation in those deals. Neither of them had the education, local contacts, or the experience I had. Then Don's excuse for undercutting me was that my brokerage experience wasn't in the Seattle area. Yet my brokerage experience was in Washington State and his mostly was not. I ended up refusing the job and never spoke to him again. The last thing I want to point out are why questions. I never thought that a why question was bad, yet I found out that men take why questions as a personal attack on them. I did notice over the years that men would ask how questions more often, like, how did this happen? That is, unless someone was angry and they wanted to personally attack someone else, then it would be a why question. This is a short episode, but I hope it provides some insight on how we can work better together in a business setting. And girls, remember your worth, because we end up doing most of the work for the least amount of pay. Like me, though, you probably don't feel like you have many choices. That's how I felt as a single mom with 2 special needs kids that I was 100% financially, physically, and emotionally responsible for. But you are worth a lot more than you give yourself credit for. And as you get older, you will see, just as I did, that you are as efficient, if not more, than most of the people you work for or with. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time.